to Advanced Weekly Update. We got some new friends in here with us today.
That's right. We have hired some new staff. We'd like to introduce them. This is Bob the turtle. Actually, these turtles have real names. Yep. Today we're talking about pets. And our friend Ruben from here at Advanced has two amazing turtles. Big A and Little B are their names. So we wanted to introduce them to you guys. Do you have any pets right now?
I have no pets right now, unless you count a few cockroaches that come through every now and then.
Yeah, I mean, if you feed them, it counts as a pet, right?
Yeah, but those are not wanted pets.
Unwanted.
Yeah.
I have a lot of pets right now. I have a little turtle and about 100 little fish. I love fish tanks, so I have a ton. All right, sounds like we're having a microphone issue.
Yes, so I'll just lean over and speak into John's mic. If you can't hear me, they'll work on that. But these guys are pretty cool. Like, I mean, just I don't know if you get a close-up of that. Look at that guy.
Look at these guys.
Yeah.
They're amazing pets. Today, we'd love to talk about animals with you. We all know that living in a city can be a tough place to have plants or pets, but a lot of people, including myself, still enjoy pets, and we still make time for pets in our busy life. Today, our article this week for the 8th, which I believe is Wednesday.
Couple days, yeah.
Talks about a very difficult pet situation. A lady goes through a hurricane in Florida with her dogs. Now, if you've ever been in any kind of an emergency with pets, you know how difficult that is. You've been a dog owner for many years as a kid, or?
Right. Growing up, we had dogs. My parents lived in the countryside, so we would have dogs from time to time. Most of my childhood, we had probably at least one dog.
Yeah.
My favorite was a yellow lab. Those are amazing dogs, very loving, very just nice pets to have.
A lab is short for a Labrador Retriever. I'm going to put my turtle back in the tank here. And we'll put them back. Thank you for the guest appearance. The Labrador Retriever is one of the dogs that is the most popular in the United States, maybe around the world, for being really good with kids. And I would love to hear your dog stories, you listeners who are dog owners out there. What's your favorite dog and why? I've had a few dogs in my life.
Yeah.
Often rescue dogs.
Okay.
So sometimes they have a different personality than a dog that's been raised as a puppy, but it can be very rewarding to have dogs, right? They're very good, friendly pets.
Well, and I see lots of dogs around Taipei.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of you, maybe some of you have dogs, and you can write in to tell us what kind of dog you have, or maybe you have a cat. I'm not a big cat person, but maybe you're a cat person.
All right, if you are a pet owner, why don't you write in, and if you know the English name of your pet, put it in there or put it in Chinese if it's an exotic pet. Sometimes I go to the fish store with my son and I see fish whose names I know in English, but I'm surprised. So I have a hard time with the names for animals, but I love learning new names. All right, so let's go to our discussion question first for today. The question is, what is the most difficult pet situation that you have ever faced? I know for me, I was moving and I had a cat. And if you know, if any of you are cat owners, I love cats, but they don't always do very well with new situations. Some cats might, but I lost a lot of my cat's trust by moving him, and he really never was the same emotionally afterwards. He had a little look in his eye like, you're the guy that made me move away from my house. So cats are very smart. We also have a good poll going here. Take time to take our poll question. And what is our poll about today?
All right, what pet is best for an apartment? That is key part of the question. Is it a dog, a cat, a small pet, or no pets, please? Well, 43% so far are saying a small pet. That makes sense, John, because in an apartment you don't have a ton of space, maybe.
That's right.
You want a smaller pet.
What do you think? How would you answer this question?
I would agree with all of you. Small pet, or maybe just no pet at all, actually. I think it's harder to, I know we've dog sat before, and that means like we've taken care of someone's dog. And, you know, you can't just open up your back door and let it go in your backyard, right? Unless you're lucky enough to have a yard.
Dogs are more difficult.
Yeah, definitely. They are. Cats, of course, would be a bit easier. But it's a little more of a challenge, right? So I think, and not enough space for them to run around. So I think I agree with you guys.
A dog definitely takes more work, but dogs are really fun. So we call this phrase a trade-off. Trade-off is a great English idiom. It just means that even though something might have a downside, there's also an upside. So you could say, buying a new car, it's a trade-off. It's more expensive, but you don't have to repair it as much.
What I think is good, John, about like having cats, they can basically take care of themselves. I mean, you need to feed them and that sort of thing, but you don't have to walk them.
That's right.
Right, necessarily, right? You can take them out if you want. But a dog, like if you go on vacation, what are you going to do with your dog? Obviously, there are options. You have friends you can maybe help out. Someone can come over. Maybe you can put them in one of those fancy dog hotels, but it's a little more challenging.
It is. Some dogs are amazing. They can really go anywhere with you, but that's not always the case. I think cats are great apartment animals because they're fun. They're a bigger animal. They're more interactive.
Sure.
But like you say, they don't take as much maintenance or as much work to keep them going. Though I myself am a small pet fan, so I would probably say small pets.
What kind of small pets do you have now?
I have fish. I try to have fish and plants and shrimp as a nice balance. So if I leave them for as much as a few days, the fish will eat the plants or eat the shrimp. Everything is breeding in my tanks. That means all the fish are having babies and the shrimp are having babies and the plants are growing. So I try to keep it balanced.
A whole ecosystem.
Yeah, an ecosystem. You don't want to do that with cats, though. You don't want to have cats and mice. That would be a mess. All right. Hi, Alan. Alan, you say, hi, Brandon, John. You are now traveling in Japan with your wife. I hope you guys have a really fun trip. I've been to a sand dune in Totri and Okushima. I probably ruined those names. Island in Hiroshima. Very cool. There are many wild rabbits on the island. Beautiful. Send us a photo. And you say you raised a cat before. Cats are a lot of fun. I had 2 cats once, and that was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. Well, friends, if you have a difficult pet story, we'd love to hear it. Have you ever had a difficult dog experience?
Yes. Several years ago here in Taipei, we sort of took in a dog, my roommate and I. It was a lab. It was a yellow lab. So I was like probably feeling kind of happy about it, but maybe not really because I didn't want to take care of a dog in an apartment. And the bad thing was it was not housebroken. So
can you explain that word, housebroken?
Which means that it didn't know that it needed to go outside to go to the bathroom. So that was a messy situation. Oh, no. We only had him for a couple of weeks, and then we were able to transfer him to someone else's home. Wow. But that was difficult.
For you English learners, that phrase housebroken, you probably have guessed what it means. It means being able to not go to the bathroom on the carpet and waiting. But that term to break an animal, you don't want to break a dish or a bowl, right? Breaking is a special term for animal trainers. If you break a horse, it means that a horse that would not let anyone jump on its back is then goes through a training process, and a horse trainer breaks the horse. You could also say you break in your shoes. If you get new shoes and they're uncomfortable, after you've worn them for a while, they get broken in, which means comfortable to use. So breaking in a horse takes a special kind of trainer. Horses, you had a horse once.
Yes.
He just told me that he had a horse. I was so surprised.
Growing up, we had a horse, but guess what? We never rode the horse, which is, I know, kind of strange. It was given to us by my uncle, and we fed her and gave her water, of course. In the wintertime is difficult because it would freeze. The water would freeze. Sometimes you have to go out and break up the ice or make sure it melts and that sort of thing. But she was beautiful. She was beautiful, absolutely gorgeous.
All right, Mary, hi. Mary says, I like puppies the most, but I think puppies are not suitable as pets, not in apartments. Yeah, puppies are a lot of work. They are fun, but it's hard when you're working and you're gone. Yeah. Get ready to lose your carpet.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mary. It's great to hear from you. Brian, 17. Brian, you say keeping fishes in an apartment is very easy since fish wouldn't make any noise. It's true. It's true, unless they splash, I guess. But you're right. Most importantly, you only need a small fish tank to keep them unless you have a luxurious fish tank. Great vocab word. Yeah. Luxury is like a fancy fish tank. I do love keeping fish in my office. You've seen we're under construction now, so I took it home, but I had a big jar with plants and a light, and It wasn't very luxurious, but it was a nice way to keep small
No one
fish.
else had that, so compared to everyone
No one
else
else,
in the office, right?
Me and Ruben are keeping all these wild animals.
We also hear from Luna before we go. She
Hi,
says,
Luna.
I've seen the 3rd grade child having 2
axolotls? Yeah, this is a special kind. It's an amphibian, which means like frogs and salamanders. They breathe through their skin. They are super popular on the internet because they look really cute. They're pink. They're a salamander, like a water lizard that breathes through its skin.
So Luna says this was the child's assignment for school, right? And this is good for children to know the correct idea of how to take care of pets, right?
Cool.
And so that's pretty awesome. Thank you, Luna.
Axolotl, wow. Yeah. All right, cool. Oh, Mary, hi. You said you had a Taiwan dog. You mean like those mountain dogs that are very popular here? Her name was Mercy. A Taiwan dog is really good as a loyal friend. I'm missing her. Mary, we'd love to hear more about your dog.
Pets are gone, right? And that's a difficult thing.
Well, friends, we're out of time. My wife also wants a Taiwan dog. She says that dog breed is very loyal and good for families.
There you go.
Well, friends, we love you guys. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll see you next week. Keep practicing your English. And remember, you can break in a horse, but don't break furniture.
Or your back.
Or your back.
All right. See you guys next Monday at 1 o'clock.
Don't break a sweat. See you guys. What else shouldn't you break? Break the ice.